Welcome back to the Inside Out Shift, where I talk with women who have left corporate 9 to 5 or traditional career paths and are building something that feels more aligned with who they are. And I'm Evgenia Baikova, a business mindset strategist. I help women entrepreneurs turn their experience, strengths, and ideas into work they can clearly explain, confidently sell, and get paid for. I also help teams communicate better and work together with less friction. And today I'm joined by Wendy Cooper, and Wendy has spent 30 years in wellness. Can you imagine that? From private practice to yoga studios to multiple corporate contracts. And she has helped hundreds of people feel more calm, grounded, and healthy. And she also helps practitioners find their footing in the business. Isn't that amazing? And what I really appreciate about Wendy's work is that she understands both sides, the personal side of feeling grounded and resourced, and the business side of building something that pays you fairly without burning out. Wendy has a background in exercise science, yoga therapy and somatics, feminine energy mentoring, hypnotherapy, past life regression, and I cannot pronounce this word, neuroplastic movement. And today we're going to talk about something I think so many high-achieving women need to hear. The difference between effort and struggle, what it means to be truly resourced, and how to build work that honors your value without losing yourself in the process. Wendy, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. That was maybe the best introduction I've ever had. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. And Wendy, I know that you've made different pivots in your work and life. And was there a moment when you realized, oh gosh, I can't keep doing it this way anymore?
I think there might have been more than one of those. Mm-hmm. Yes. Specific to specific to the corporate world where you help women come out of corporate and find their voices and their purpose and get back on their feet. Working 30 years, I built a corporate wellness structure, a management system, and we were on site most of the time and helped people feel less stressed. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we just helped them feel less stressed by exercising or playing pickleball or, mm-hmm. Basketball or whatever, but yoga, of course, and meditation. But what we learned along the way, and it took a long time to learn it, was that we were working at the employee level. And when the leadership was dysregulated, dysfunctional, it just trickled down. And so we could keep people from being miserable working there, mm-hmm. but we couldn't actually fix the problem because it was at the top and they, of course, didn't have time. So one of my big pivots, aside from wanting to help wellness business owners feel grounded and balanced too, is that I am now working with smaller companies and we start at the top or we don't start. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, and then for the practitioners, it's that feeling of value and being resourced and having your feet on the ground, that helps them succeed in the conversations if they want to or choose to support corporate
mm-hmm, well-being. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is great. And thank you for sharing this. And that brings me to something that we talked about in our first conversation. And if you remember, we talked about the difference between a problem and a challenge. Uh-huh. And how do you know when something is just asking more of you versus when it's no longer right for you?
How I know and how I work with people to know is somatically. Mm-hmm. Your body knows before you do.
Yeah.
And so when you really, and it's a practice, I can teach it to you in 10 minutes and you'll know it textbook mm-hmm. wise, but to really learn to sense in your body will tell you how it feels before, up here. And so we learn to tune into that. Yeah.
And that's interesting because you know that you are teaching people how to recognize that things, and well, so many women who have done well in corporate and leadership and other thing like in other careers, they also experience that as well. But how to listen in your body, how to trust your own sensations. Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the learning. Like you are literally teaching them how to. And you know, that also brought a question about high achieving women, right? Because, well, we are getting things done. We are those who are so good at pushing through, but unfortunately, we are not always as good as noticing when we need support. And I know that you teach how to understand the signals from your body, but what do you think, or how to ask this question? So, yeah, we cannot ask for help when we need that support. So, what would you say about that?
You know, we either notice it or we end up with things like high blood pressure, weight gain, not being able to sleep all night. And then we say, oh, it's perimenopause. But that is literally a chemistry thing that happens in the body where when you've been stressed for so long that you think it's normal, your body is actually using your reserves of the hormone progesterone. And so those symptoms, you start to feel them, you start to feel sick, you start to slow down, you start to get brain fog. That means that's the engine light is on. And honestly, unless we're willing to just believe it, those are your signals. Those are the danger signals. And did I answer that question? Like high achievers, we're gunning for it. And the message, there's also messaging in society. Women finding a seat at the executive table are expected, or maybe put it on themselves, I'm not sure, but we're expected to be in our heavy masculine energy. And there's so masculine is pushing, it's doing, it's structure, it's spreadsheets, it's PowerPoints, it's all the things, right? Whereas we have a superpower in the feminine piece, which is intuition. And we weren't trained that that's a superpower. And, so we just go. And the masculine, like if you put it with the elements, the masculine is fire and feminine is water.
Water. Yeah.
Right. And so, we use the term burnout. It's funny where these terms come from, that burnout is just overdoing. And I really think we get into it. The career path definitely calls the competitor out in all of us. But when we have children, alongside of having a career, that expectation of ourselves, like on a primal nature, to give and to nurture, and you get into this wild, over-giving, over-masculine energy, and it's hard on a female body.
Yeah, and you just mentioned that it's all about like chemical reactions in our body. It's all about the chemistry, but also, it seems to be a familiar pattern in high achievers, right? So we are pushing through, we are holding everything together. But also, I think that it's a kind of a skill to be able to ask, okay, so what do I need? Right?
When's the last time you asked yourself that? When the first person asked me that, I was like, what?
Yes.
So I was running my studio and all these corporate programs all at the same time, and I didn't have this toolkit yet. And I had a coach, the reflection game. She looks at me and she's like, what do you have on desire? And I went, what are you talking about?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And sometimes that questions, they sound even ridiculous to us, but that usually the first two questions that I ask my clients, they are who you are and what do you want for yourself. And you know what? They froze. Like they have no idea. And they start like talking about the things, but well, they want something for their family, for their kids, for their partners, for business, for parents, but not for themselves. And it takes time to like even formulate or find the right words. I want this for myself. And it's
it's like pulling it out. That is always, I either get, I don't know, like deer in the headlights, or I just want my husband and children to be happy and healthy. I just want to show up for them. I want all our vacations to be whatever they want. Like we completely lose our sovereignty and ability to say, I want to go to the beach. Y'all can go to the mountains if you want to, but I'm going to the beach.
Yes. Yeah. Because, well, to me, understanding what I want helps me to be grounded and centered. And this is how I can be at service for others, right? By understanding who I am, what I want. And even if we talk about the help, like, okay, we are high achievers, but sometimes we need that help, assistance, and support as well. And, Wendy, you used the word in our previous conversation that actually stayed with me, and you talk about being resourced. And I do remember our conversation about that, and I think it's such an important concept. So what does it look like when a woman or women are truly resourced from the inside?
What it looks like is a calm presence. It looks like we walk up to and we're like, hey, not like, hey, how are you? There's a very different energy to it, right?
Busy.
But I can equate it to, as you said it, I'm like, okay, how am I going to explain this? So feminine energy is receiving, right? And so we talk about nobody wants to ask for help. You mean, I giggle all the time because it's like, I'm fine means I'm not fine. Means I got this. But if you think about a flower or a plant, the only resources it needs is to receive sunlight and receive the water that you pour on it each day, and then it can flourish, right? And so becoming a vessel and becoming receptive is one of the key means of being resourced. Past that, we also go after all the old belief systems and the things that keep your nervous system on high alert. Then they run under the radar. Like we don't even know they're there. When I had a coach, again, pulling it out of me, and when I realized that I had all kinds of old money stories running and, value, I was like, oh, I don't have to hold that anymore. It's actually not true that you have to use a tea bag 3 times and, wear everything out till it has holes in it before you buy something new. You can actually just go buy yourself something.
Yeah. And well, this feels so grounding, and I like how you are talking about the vessel. And another thing came to my mind is that it's about having access to yourself and your body and your wisdom and intuition, like you mentioned before. It's like about you having that, I don't know, like inner steadiness, or like, it's such a powerful thing. I even have no words for that.
It is. And it's a feeling. And I'll make you giggle that I read your posts, and sometimes you're talking about finding the words. I'm like, I need her. Like, I finding the words to describe this sensation of what it feels like to have no static in your system whatsoever during a heated conversation.
Yeah.
is unbelievable. And to recognize when you fall out of that steady place, that's the real power. Like, so I'm not immune by any stretch. But as soon as someone's got me off center, I take a pause.
And the funny thing about this, I just finished the client call, and we were talking about the inner strengths and how she's different from her surroundings, and she was so like absorbing everything, and she's like, well, I can be calm because I know who I am. And that was such an aha moment for her. And I was just like, yes, we got there.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Yeah, it is. Like, she is finding her own words, like how she can describe what she wants, how she sees the situation, and what she really wants from her kids and husband and for colleagues. And this is such a powerful thing. Like, it's not just trusting yourself, but it's like, I don't know, it's bigger than that. It's like trusting the process of living the life. I don't know.
Well, it's allowing yourself.
Yeah.
We've been conditioned to give. And that's a society thing, right?
Yeah.
But allowing yourself to know what you want, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. Allowing yourself to receive help, right?
Exactly. Allowing yourself, giving permission. And also another thing, and that will be my next question. We know, and I think that we are noticing that so many women, we are so naturally good at caring for other people, reading the room, holding everything together. So why do you think sometimes we dismiss those abilities like, well, this is normal and everyone can do that, instead of seeing them as a real strength and superpower?
I honestly think that it's a society conditioning. Women with those qualities and with the qualities to bring life to earth are powerful. It's a powerful energy. And, nurturing is great. Being the one that has to go fetch the coffee for all the meetings, not so much. Just because you happen to be female, like that's just not at all. Very much of it is really, honestly, conditioning and experiencing. What's interesting too is that when we're in balance, we're actually magnetic. So if you think of that receptive piece, when we're standing on our side of the fence, leaning back a little bit in a sales conversation, or even letting a boardroom, I've been in this, you can see me see it, in a boardroom full of men, letting them fuse out on finding the solution, and then going, let them ask.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if that answers your question or not. I have little exercises that I give women that I'll share with you. They're actually funny. Have you ever been, someone says, "Oh, Evgenia, I love your outfit today," and you go, "Oh,
and you dismiss that, like, yeah, like, okay, yeah.
Well, thanks. It was on sale at Amazon."
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, isn't it funny how we do that?
If you go, "Oh, thank you," and just like let that positive energy land, you get to keep it.
Yeah.
Well, so you're pulling resources all day long.
Exactly. Like, why not to receive, right? We create so many excuses. Well, that was on sale. Oh, I've got that like long ago. Like, it's nothing. Yeah. And we're so good at that too. And, when you also brought an great idea of pushing versus receiving, and I think that is such a big conversation for, well, all women, even in business. How have you seen women confuse effort with struggle? We talked about that last time, especially in their careers or business.
One of the classic, really obvious effort versus struggle is, working a 12-hour day when you're done after 6. Everything's junk.
Yeah.
it's sitting there, it's being visible, and it's exhausting you. And, that's struggle. I want to credit my formative coach, Steve Ilg, who was a holistic fitness coach. And those are his words: recognize the difference between effort and struggle. He was a world-class athlete. And so if you think of yourself, I'll use a bike race because that's what we did a lot of back in the day. And you're sprinting all out and you're going and your cadence is no longer smooth and your effort is all over the place and you can't really breathe deeply. That's struggle. Versus being able to pull your breath all the way down, oxygenate your cells, you'll receive, and then get back into flow. Effort, struggle.
Yeah, it's such a powerful framework, I would say. And when you see then your effort actually turns in proving and forcing, overworking, or constantly even overriding yourself, that's a different thing. Yeah, that's a struggle. Yeah, and sometimes we think that, well, if we are busy, which means to me being in struggle, that we are successful. But this is definitely coming from our corporate world when your calendar is like every hour, even like every second is filled with something. That means that, well, you are effective. Actually, you are not.
Exactly.
You're just busy. You're just busy.
The difference between busy and effective. Effort has a smoothness to it. Effort is balanced. Effort is in cadence, whereas struggle is where you cross the line.
Yes. But interestingly, that you mentioned that we are conditioned and we are bringing all the habits with us from our previous lives, thinking, okay, so we survived there and probably this will help us here, which actually playing tricks with us. And another question that I wanted to ask is about this thing. So when someone leaves a corporate role, they also leave behind so many things like title and structure and team. And sometimes the automatic credibility, like when you are saying, I am this from this organization, you create that trust immediately. Like they do know who you are. They know what place you are occupying. In my case, I can say, well, I am HR director. So everyone's just like, wow. Yeah, so you are credible. But okay, so what to do when you leave everything behind? Like what becomes hard about explaining who you are and what you do after that? And so that's the question, like why and what?
Yeah, I think you've really called it out already. It's an identity shift. It is, you left because you were tired and burned out and didn't want to report to that mean boss anymore. And then it's like, whoa, what am I? And in corporate, you just say, I'm the director of finance, I'm the CFO. And then you're automatically credible. Where out here, I think the requirement is to first, like we've been talking about, know what you want, know who you are, know what you bring. And it's so easy to not see those things. I know you work with a couple of tools to help people kind of dial into who they are and what their superpowers are. What are those?
Well, you mean the Clifton Strengths?
I thought that, you had a tool in your
I do that. Yeah, because, well, I'm losing my voice today. It helps you to understand who you are deeply because, well, you are getting data. Like it's not a horoscope, right? It's scientifically backed. The Gallup, they're doing a great job researching and adding new information to that assessments. They create so many meaningful new reports. So this is data. And I'm using that to help people not just understand, but believe, okay, this is me, because you can see yourself clearly. Oh, this is so me. And that explains so many things for you. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for bringing this. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I think I did a little bit of, I have not done Clifton Strengths, but over the course of my career, the ones I've thrown out the word woo, but that's where they would be classified.
Yeah.
Human design was one of those. But Myers-Briggs was super
Yeah.
helpful for me back in the day. And the DISC has recently been kind of enlightening. And, it's interesting to keep putting all those pieces together, and you recognize that your process, I'm a little ADHD, like, so I work in bursts on things. I can get more done in 2 hours than most people get done in a day when I get focused. And I always beat myself up for that because I don't work like everybody else. When we pulled up all those different profiles, it was like, oh, this is just my process. I'm taking it in, and suddenly it's all organized and it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm joking about that. It's like getting the manual to yourself, like, okay, so what should I do with this? And you just, you find the right page, you read, oh, now I know. Or how to overcome the things, or the blind spots, other things. Like, yeah, this is so helpful. And, so many people, they're saying that this is a kind of a life-changing experience, right? Because before that, you were guessing, or you've got a kind of external validation from others, which is like a 90% not true. But now you're getting, okay, so this is who I am. This is my DNA. And yeah, again, it explains so many things. Like, this is how I think. This is how I digest information. This is how I communicate with people. This is how I make decisions. And now you understand how you can work with what you have, rather than forcing yourself into something that will never work, right?
Right. And looking for external validation, right? Like in school, you want to get a good grade on the test. You want to raise your hand. And when you come out into the entrepreneurial world, if you do that, you're going to end up in rabbit holes. But when you talk about feeling resourced and feeling grounded, when you're not expecting of yourself to be like everybody else and not beating yourself up when everybody doesn't like what you have more energy, because there's like that in those internal voices beating you up, they keep you there. It's exhausting.
It is. And I also remember that you shared something powerful about professional expectations, like how we are supposed to look, sound, communicate, and show up. So what old ideas of being professional do you think women are still carrying from the past?
Well, again, coming out of corporate, large corporations absolutely do judge, expect you to look and speak and talk a certain way if you're going to be online. Many are actually paying attention to it and watching to see what you say, to the point where you forget. You just don't want to be visible, because it's easier to just duck and have inhuman friends and not socialize online than it is to meet their expectations. It just, you could go into a company down the street from me now and ask 10 people in a row how they feel about social media, and they'd go like this. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. Even I, selling to large corporations as I did, online, I've got the black suit and pearls photos so that I looked like someone that they might respect. Now I happily
You're not.
wear what I would normally wear.
Oh, yes. I do remember when I was working in my last organization, huge one, multinational, all over the world. Someone told me, like, when you are on your parking lot, closing your car door, since that moment, you've been watched.
Yeah.
Like who you are, what you do, what you say, are you polished? you have to be careful, not being too much, not being too direct, not being too emotional, not being too visible. Like
Yeah.
you're being watched. Isn't it horrible?
It is horrible. And, the companies, the one in particular that we worked with really initially didn't feel like that. But towards the end of our time there were literally people who were getting in trouble for participating in the wellness program.
Yeah.
And it was like, ugh. And there was, in the upper echelons, there were, they had stylists and writers and it's like, who are you? Like you used to.
Yeah. Like what parts of this is actually me?
Yeah. Well, and so getting there at age 28, the people that joined the wellness program eventually climbed the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all about the same age. Imagine that. And there really were some the moments where I was kind of like, who are you? Who are you? What did you do with my friend? But it was expected of the, from the even higher ups, the parent company and whatnot. That's an interesting world.
Yeah. And, Wendy, I'd like to switch gears a little bit and talk about like money and pricing. So a lot of women can clearly see the value they bring to others, but at the same moment, they still struggle to charge for it or say it out loud. So what do you think is underneath that?
That goes back to your childhood beliefs around money, the way you've been treated, and how you interpreted whether or not the outside world was valuing you. That's a whole, in my I have a little 12-week program called Thriving Wellness Business Owner. That is week one. Week one is decluttering your money stuff, to just kind of reorganize around, so for example, in the wellness field, literally in yoga teacher training, we are taught to be servants. We should not charge for our services. And isn't that insane? Like to say that in a business setting is like, why would you work for free? Oh, because the teacher told me I was supposed to, we aren't good yogis if we don't teach for free.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. But it really, it's a complex topic. But all you have to, we call it in Jungian sense, it's a shadow. It's something that you don't know. You don't know that you don't know until and there's a great book. I'm going to space the name of it now. But I'll show it's all about, it's a whole money question book. And you just take yourself through that and you're a third of the way through it. And then I don't know, how do you get people over that? I take them through vocal exercises.
Oh, that should be really powerful because that we talk about the beliefs. So what's underneath that, right? And then we talk about not like the money itself, but the value, the transformation. Okay, so what's the price of not the hour you are spending with your client, but the transformation you bring and how they benefit from that transformation. And then again, aha moments. Oh, wow, I didn't know that, that I'm bringing transformation to people's life. Because, it's funny. Even when I was working and helping people with their leadership, how to be a better leader and how to show up differently. So many of the leaders with whom I worked, they shared the side effects that they've got. I'm sleeping better right now. But oh my God, that wasn't the goal for our coaching, right? So in other stuff, now I'm in better relationship with my family, with my kids and other things. This is such a, it's multidimensional thing, or we have so many layers and you cannot separate professional from personal. There is so much it
all lives in the body.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
and I think that it's also about naming, owning, and like not asking, but thinking about, okay, so they need me because of what? Why they hire me? So, and that can help you to clear all the questions about the pricing and money. But usually I try to help them tying it up with transformation that they bring.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I actually started writing a post today about, I joined a program because it was going to give me pricing strategy and marketing and this and that. But the coach had these other agendas, to clear all of these beliefs. I actually had two coaches working at the same time. One was on my energy and belief systems, and the other one was teaching me strategy. I spent multiple 5 figures on those coaches. The monetary payback was 10 times, literally, but the physical, like my husband's a man of few words. You haven't met him yet, but when he stepped back and he's like, what is that coach doing with you? I'm like, can you ask a more specific question? He goes, you're just different. He's like, keep going. You're killing it.
Yeah.
That he's a tough grader. Like that was the highest praise I could receive.
Yeah.
Was he just noticed that I was showing up differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When you have a belief, so if you were a child or even a woman and you spoke your value, you spoke your price, and there are plenty of customers that are going to go, oh, that's ridiculous, that's too expensive. And some people just do that because they're programmed to do that. Like they don't know. But it's like getting your voice stuffed back in, right?
Yeah.
And then you carry this tension. If you take that on, you carry a tension around it. But when you let that go, you have more energy to just
interesting. We can talk about it like a whole new episode about pricing and other stuff, because also I have heard another thing, like so many, like you are asking yourself who I am as a buyer. How I behave as a buyer. That also can help you to get rid of all that conditioning, all that beliefs and other stuff. Like you can watch yourself.
You expect people to buy the same way you do, and they absolutely do not. Everybody's got their own way. And, I love the ones who are like, no, I want the best program. What's your best program? I don't care what it costs. Let's go. I want to get this done and dive in. Because it's easy, but,
Yeah.
Some people are not that kind of, they're bargain shoppers. They could be multi-million billionaires, whatever. And that's just how they shop.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Yeah. That's their way. Right.
Yes. So many different, like shoppers, so many different tendencies and like habits. Like, for example, my husband, he's like, well, I like Tesla because you can buy it online with no conversations. Like he hates that.
Yeah.
For example, like, well, I'd like that. But there are so many others, like, when you are entering the, the store and there are so many assistants that are coming your way, like, do you need any help? And just watch you. Are you showing them off like, shush? Or are you like, yes, I need some help? And they are talking to you and they are not like pushing you to buy. They are helping you. So that's interesting to observe yourself, how you are doing in that type of conversations. Are you comfortable? So what are you saying? Are you like sending them out or whatever, right? So that's also about us, how we are buying, that help you to understand how you sell as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is a whole nother conversation. There's an old belief that if someone asks you if they can help you, that you have to buy if you ask for help.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's something that I put on myself forever. Now, if I need help, I say yes. And it's lovely. I'm in and out of the store faster.
Yep.
right? You find what you're looking for without going down every aisle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is a great conversation, and even deserve a separate one. And we are about to close our interview for today. So,
Great.
Wendy, what would you say to a woman who feels ready, feels ready for something new, building the business, but they're still waiting for the right moment or being confident to take the next step? What would you say to them?
You know, it's twofold, and it's both sides of the coin, right? So being open to receive nudges. I do this all the time. I've texted you when I get like a thought of you in my head, I'm like, hey, just thinking of you. How's it going? Right.
Yeah.
But following your hunches and your nudges and then acting on them. So it's both that receptive nature and the go, because the universe responds to action. If you show it that I'm out here looking for this kind of customer and I'm doing it actively, they're going to show up. It's like they fall out of the sky. It's the damnedest thing. Sorry. I mean, it's the darndest thing. It's,
Beautiful.
I had another friend who called it the woo and the do, right? It takes both sides. You have to allow yourself to receive, be fully in your energy, your power, your stance, and then go. Take messy action. You're going to fall down. So just go do that first and get the fall downs out of the way. And then it starts raining.
Yeah. Well, yes. And thank you. Thank you so much for this conversation. And what I'm taking from this is that building a new chapter is not only about strategy. No. It's about learning to notice the difference between a challenge, a struggle. It's about becoming more resourced from the inside. It's about being receptive. And, I love the reminder that women, we do not have to burn ourselves out to build something meaningful. We can create work from being grounded and clear and fairly paid. We can do that, and we can be aligned with what we are building. And for everyone listening, if this conversation resonated with you, please like this episode, subscribe to the channel, share it with a woman who may want to start building something or who are standing in her own season of change. And if you want to learn more about Wendy and her work, you can find her by using the links in the description. If you want to learn more about my work, you can find my links in the description as well. I work with women entrepreneurs who are ready to clarify their offers and strengthen their messages and get paid for the experience and strengths they already have. And if you are a woman who has left corporate or traditional career and you are building your own business and you want to share your story, please reach out to me to be a guest. And reach out. And thank you for being here with us today. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you. And thank you, Wendy.
Evgenia.